Kubor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
Kakenhuan menteri mentakasngi kekendai trik urumpang arajar arpusau, kelaitai bet menjur yeshibun tli kimat bakongsan. Kakenhuan menteri kala menjur men pentre kami Megalia building bylaws arajar arpway, nak mentaman penroi sorah kejela. Ini ki an kinyat haringkat beka an jo sorkar India, nak mentaman pentigna ya kejingada ya ki Ïing mala, kejing Donkam ya ki jaka ki barit hakrukom kabadai, kejing jong ka Ïing mala, kajaka nak mentaban te ya ki Ïing batkom ta ter. Habakran bikilat pathai kubor Menteri Rangba uloong. Baka Megalia building bylaws la menjur ban penkala kat kumki kendon jangka sorkar India kanang man pensuk ya kejingwan ki skim. Menteri Rangba abakran halor ki Ïing mala uloong. Manam Jingbit ban te ye ki Ïing hai ki jaka ki balong sanpau degree ke jingjrong namar kan bu jingma. Menteri Rangba ula pentebru baki nu-ginu ki batmu ban Shna Ïing arpinyo meter Shapoh ke jingjrong dan kamban pan Jingbit.
I may not have all the details with me right now, but what happened was earlier say suppose there was a certain size, plot size that you had. The laws required you to leave about 3 meters from the front, about I think 2 meters from the side, and I think rear also about 2 meters. So depending on now the different land sizes, and obviously on lands which are not on 40 degrees slope, so which is more on the plain land, plainish, not too steep. So based on that, the gap that you leave from the boundary wall to the building, that gap has been reduced. Say for example for 500 square feet or square meters of land, and below that it has been reduced like from the front to 2 meters, from the rear to 1 meter, which means 3 feet. Earlier it used to be 6 feet, now it will be 3 feet from the back, and from the side also it used to be 6 feet, now it will be reduced to 3 feet, so on and so forth. So without trying to misquote or without giving you wrong details, if necessary we will send you the information a bit later, but basically those are the changes that were made. Yeah, I think I got it now. Thank you.
Your X handle has been very helpful. You can put it there.
Yes, I'll put it there. Fair enough. Because as I said, these are very technical things I don't have, but I got the table now. It was long. So plot of 300 square feet to 500 square feet. The front will be 2.1 meters, rear will be 1 meter, and side will be 1 meter. 500 to 750 square feet, again 2.1 front, 1 meter rear, and 1 meter on the side. 751 to 1000, 2.5 meters in the front, 1.5 meters at the rear, and 1 meter in the sides. And these numbers were different earlier because, say for example, up to 1000 square feet, it used to be 2.5 meters in the front, and rear was 1.5 and size was 1 meter. So certain changes have been made. As I said, I will put it on my social media. I think that will be much more fairer. But point is that we have tried to allow people to, the basic point being, I think this is the important part which I would like you to share. Most important is, number one, wherever possible, we have tried to give more space to people to construct their buildings, so that the land and the gap between the boundary wall and this thing is minimized. That's number one. Number two, we have reduced the permissions to Muda to give buildings above 27 meters permission. If the buildings above 27 meters are there, they have to come to government to take approval. So that has been approved. So earlier it was up to 40 meters. Now it has been reduced up to 27 meters. So Muda can only give,
this is the
height of buildings above 27 meters will have to come to government. It's not that we are not allowing, but it will be special permission. So Muda will be only allowed up to 27 meters. Third most important thing which we have said is that any land which is at 50 degrees of slope, no building permission will be given for lands that has 50 degrees in slope and or above. The building permission, buildings cannot be constructed. This is keeping in mind the safety of the building and all this aspect. 50 meters is quite steep slope, as you can imagine. So that is one thing. And for buildings that are 40 degrees and above, there are certain restrictions that will be put in terms of the height and the space that you can occupy, and so on and so forth. So we are working on creating a much more planned and more safer building constructions, keeping in mind the different situations that are being faced in different parts of the country and the world, and trying to see if these laws can come in so that it can make the buildings safer in the long run. Yeah, of course. The building opening permissions are not given if you don't adhere to the bylaws. So therefore, there are procedures that will be followed, and it has, of course, helped, and it has to be implemented, and is being implemented as per the rules and as per the laws.
Sir, just as a layman perspective, I'm asking this above 27 meters means how many story?
27 meters is roughly about close to 27 into 3 is like what, 82 whatever feet, something like that. So I would be guessing about 3-4 floors, so something. I really don't know 27 meters, so you have to find out. But it's about close to 90 feet, just below 90 feet.
So what will be the jurisdiction of this building bylaw, because there are district council areas, cantonment?
So district council areas will be, of course, having their own laws, as we had decided earlier. But normally they adapt the building bylaws that are put in by Muda.
Sir,
So there will be, I can't give you all the details, but it includes everything from footpaths to parking lots to e-mobility in terms of public transportation, electric vehicles, electric buses. All these are in the scope. It's a very broad aspect, and we just have put the policy in place so that it gives us some kind of a vision and some kind of goals that we can, come forward with. For example, we would like to, go with a concept which we call 20-minute city. So this is a concept that is done in many parts of the country and the world, where a particular neighborhood should be about 20 minutes, where people should be able to move around their particular locality in the area and get majority of the services within 20 minutes. So this policy is basically a draft vision and a guideline as to what we would like to achieve. And to be able to achieve that, then there are many steps to be taken. So for example, to do that, then we have to maybe create some kind of low emission zones, low congestion zones, so on and so forth. So all those things will come out as we move forward. But first thing is that we've done is that we've created this policy document that will now guide us and kind of give the vision of how we would like to improve the overall mobility of the state, the city.
By when it will be fully implemented?
So it's a process. There's nothing called full implementation, but like for example, the parking lots, already about 3-4 locations have been tendered out, and the work will start there. We expect about 3-4 of them to be complete by so we have about 1,200 plus parking spaces for vehicles that are in the pipeline. We expect 50% of that maybe to be completed in this financial year and 50% to be completed in next financial year. We are looking at anything between 10 to 15 kilometers of walking space, which earlier we had envisaged as having skywalks. But as I said, the skywalks are becoming an issue because of the construction and the congestion it will cause further during the construction time. And hence, we are looking at combining the walking spaces and wherever smaller skywalks can be done without disturbing the traffic. So planning for that and hopefully work for that should start very soon. We're looking at converting some of the government lands into parks and spaces to be created for movement and expansion of the roads. We are looking at, for example, a complete overhaul of Watts Lake. So in Watts Lake, if you've seen just behind the wall opposite the entry of Watts Lake and just before the DC bungalow, you must be seeing some construction going on there. So that is a parking lot for Watts Lake, which we're creating. And there's going to be some shops where the restaurant as well as the hawkers will be moved. So the whole area from all the way from the junction of Pinewood all the way down to the Botanical Garden, you will find no vehicles being parked, no thing, because they'll all be shifted on top. So like this, there are many processes. So it's not like that it'll be all done in a matter of a year or 2 years or 3 years. It's a process that will continue. But as I said, now that the policy is in place, it gives us a direction and a guideline and a vision on how we should move forward. And every vision will be then accommodated, will be worked out with a detailed working plan of how we will move forward. And some things are already happening, and some more are in the pipeline. There was almost an hour and 15-minute presentation we saw on it. So there were a lot of things. I can't remember half of them, but as I said, we will share, as and when the time is appropriate.
Sir,